Good morning, spiritual champions. You're watching me on Pearly Day. My name is Ashalea Snow, and as you can see, I have a lot of historical information that you can view. I've created it in different forms because some people have a short attention span as opposed to those who have a longer attention span. Okay, so let me recap. Now, I did speak on the Constitution, and the reason I chose that subject is because you and I both know that people of my demographics, when I mean demographics, I'm talking about races and cultures. Well, really here in America, you're talking about skin complexion, okay? That when you go in the courtroom, the judge nor either lawyer is even thinking about your constitutional rights. And they are there. Now, we're just going to recap on some of the stuff I've been talking about because I feel you need to know. Some people rather go find out what Kendrick Lamar was saying, rather find out what's the latest weave or the hairdo. Well, you go and do that. But there's some people here that really need to know this. Okay. Now, I lived in Delaware some years back. I lived in Delaware, and thank God I never even needed to use a lawyer or attorney for anything. Thank goodness for that. But something did go down in Delaware. And when this particular thing went down, you're going to see it on the news. Now, the first thing this attorney said when the news reporters called him, I think he was coming out of a preliminary hearing or something like that. And they called him and they asked him something about the person who was in trouble. The first thing that lawyer said was, I am going to defend my client based on his constitutional rights. I'll wait. Now, before, I think I said I'll wait ahead of time, but hold up now. The further you are from Washington, D.C., the more your rights are going to be walked on because you're dealing with a good old boy system. The closer you are to Washington, D.C., your chances of finding well-educated defense, even as a public defender up that way, they are not afraid to call on the Constitution for help. The further you are from Washington, D.C., you're kind of in trouble if you're of my demographics, okay? And the first thing someone of my demographics is not going to think of when they are in trouble, especially when they've been street lifing, is the Constitution. That's not the first thing that's going to come to their mind. So you paying an attorney down through these good old boy states, and they're just taking your money because you do have inalienable rights under the Constitution. It doesn't matter. For one, a lot of them already know it. If not, you've probably experienced it. You can't go to court without a lawyer. If you can't afford an attorney, they must give you one. That's not a courtesy that they are doing. And I've watched some just say, well, we got to get you a public defender. And no, that's something he had to do. Okay? Another thing that I want to recap on is my race and my culture. Okay. I am indigenous American Indian. We never say American Indian because Americans, those who are claiming our race, may have somewhere down the line had a mother or father who looked like me, but they don't look like that anymore. They are not 100% indigenous, and they know it. But because they were born on a reservation, they can claim that. Let me tell you something. A lot of indigenous people who look like me kind of moved away from the reservation thing, according to my grandparents, because there was nothing going on there but drinking, getting drunk, smoking. There was nothing going on there. So my grandparents quickly made a decision to move away from that. Was it a mistake? Who knows? But they made a call based on, because at that time, no, they hadn't even had, they only had one child, and that was my oldest uncle, who is now long since passed. And they wanted the best for him because at that time they only had one child. So they decided to move away from the reservation thing. They really didn't trust Wasichus. So they made do with what they had or what they can earn on their own merits. And I can appreciate that because I am like that. So that's the answer to the question about my culture. Now, I'm only talking about the East Coast of America. I can't tell you what they looked like in the Central Plex, but I assure you that back in antiquity, they didn't look like they're looking now. Okay? Just saying. If they did, do you think they would get slaughtered? Like, no. Think, people, just think. Nobody is trying to claim someone else's culture. The only people do that are the Jews, claiming to be Hebrews, and they're not. Everybody wants to be somebody else's race. And that is why I am doing that, because by blood, I have a right to do so. What my forefathers kicked to the curb, I have a right to pick it up if I want. So since I got off course, I'm going to shut this down. But, a lot of people think that indigenous Indians look the way they look. That is incorrect. And the only time that hair got straightened is when they put heat on it. I mean, coming up through modern times, but back in antiquity, that hair was curly, kinky, and they just had a lot of it, and it was jet black. Okay? If you don't believe me, pull up some old pictures. Now, they had so much of it, they put salve on it, pull it back, and tie it up. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. Okay, now you have all other child. Look at him. I'm not going to get into a cultural fight, but I did have a DNA test done. I had it done when I was in college, and I wouldn't be sitting here saying this. I never should even went that far. I should have just believed my grandparents. They don't have any reason to lie to me. So, in closing, that's why that is up there for those of you who are asking. Okay? No, we are not African Americans. See, that was the problem. When you started a spiritual battle, you did not know whom it was you were attacking. And I know when I meet a man and we are talking interpersonally, I let them know that. There are some African American women out there that are lighter than me. Okay. Well, I don't know what you want me to do about that, because in antiquity, the entire world was of color. To be European is a mutation. Okay? So, having said that, thank you all for watching. Well, because the reason I am talking about those two things is because the first one could get me in trouble, especially around here. Especially if I get a large following and I'm telling people that. The second one I'm not worried about, because a simple blood test will clear that up. Simple DNA test will clear that up. It will show them that they are European. They already know that, though. Don't nobody have to do that. So thank y'all for watching and have a wonderful day.